TG Geeks, episode 394, September 5th, 2022. Amazon has the power! Rings of power, that is. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely time-warping Phoenix, Arizona.
Let's do the time warp again. Yeah, I'm Ben Raggington coming to you from time-shifting Arizona.
And let's get on with this.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, I kind of stepped on that, didn't I? All kinds of things going crazy today. We are time warping because we are going to be at CoKoCon this weekend. And so we're recording on Thursday, and that will inform kind of the discussion that we're going to have here shortly. And then we'll have our birthday shout-outs, our featured podcast of the week, our feedback this week, and maybe some other shout-outs, and second segment important topic that we might have, who knows, weekly recap, and then our regular shout-outs. So let's just get on with this show.
It makes me think of the harvest season.
The harvest. The harvest. Yes. Is that like Verger culling?
Verger culling.
Harvesting.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are. We are, as we said, we're time warping. We're kind of doing this on a Thursday so that we can enjoy ourselves at CoKoCon, which, there's still things going on today, Monday.
Yeah.
So check it out if you might want to. We might have something going on for Friday or Saturdays. Anyway, I'm not even talking about that. We're here, and we're going to talk about the Amazon series, the Rings of Power. So
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings. So
sadly, I was hoping that by the time we recorded this episode, the episode will be out, the first episode, because it's supposed to drop. It is not out yet. I'm terribly, terribly frustrated that we don't have this thing yet. But I can say, if you go to Amazon Prime Video, there are a gazillion trailers that are out there. 7 or 8 equals a gazillion.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of highlight all sorts
of trazillion.
Oh, that's a new one. Trazillion, quadzillion. Yeah, I'm gonna
Googlezillion.
Yeah, okay, you win. Infinity zillion. Sideways 8 zillion.
There you go. Sideways 8.
I win. In any case,
I didn't know this was a competition.
Yeah, well, it's you and me talking. It's always some kind of a competition.
It's always a competition. Exactly.
But there are about like 8 trailers that are out there on Amazon Prime Video right now, and this series is, it's getting a lot of conversation.
Yeah.
Not all of it is. It's not all bad.
But it's not all good either.
Well, it's not all raving. Think back to when we were at the theaters long before the first Lord of the Rings movie.
Moly.
Well, we had gone to see I don't remember what the movie was. I think it was called 30 Days.
Who knows what
it was about?
It doesn't matter.
It was about the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's all I remember. But the reason everybody was in the theater is because after the movie, they were going to show the very first trailer for The Fellowship of the Ring.
And I'm telling you, I nearly had tears.
It
was
audience,
that incredible.
The Tolkien fans completely lost their collective over that one.
And the interesting thing was we'd been following that for years before, as Peter Jackson, when the OneRing.net.
The OneRing.net.
Came into being, and it was first announced, and it's like, oh my gosh. And that turned into, how many films now?
Well, yeah, 6 movies.
Exactly. So they have big footsteps to fill.
Quite, because Peter's not involved in this. In fact, I read an interview saying Peter wasn't even really asked to be along for the ride.
I thought I had seen that he was asked to consult on it.
Well, he was, but then they never got back to him.
Yeah.
At all.
Interesting.
I mean, he didn't want to, for obvious reasons. I mean, he nearly killed himself doing all those 6 movies, and he wasn't even supposed to. As we anybody who knows, he was not supposed to be doing the Hobbit trilogy. That was going to go to, I think, Guillermo del Toro was going to take care of that, but Guillermo had to back out because of all sorts of studio problems. So Peter had to take up the reins, and I'm convinced he has no desire to want to take up that kind of a project ever again.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder he didn't want to do or be involved, directly with Rings of Power. But sure, he was interested in being able to provide some kind of insight. So that didn't happen. But he's not harboring any ill will.
No.
He's been very nice about it. He says, I hope they have a really great, successful show. So there's no bad blood there.
No blood bud. Who's Vlad?
Yeah,
is
Vlad.
That Vlad's brother?
Yeah. How'd you guess?
Aha.
Yeah. Vlad the Imbiber. How'd you like that? Instead of Vlad the Impaler, it's Vlad the Imbiber.
Yeah, there you go.
So anyway,
is he a believer?
Oh, yeah, he is, and his middle name is Justin.
Yeah.
Anyway. In any case, we seriously derailed already.
Already, as always.
But there are a number of people, who have analyzed the trailers and have said, well, that's not exactly right.
Well, I'll give you an interesting take on that, because just this morning, Thursday morning, there was in the Washington Post, the Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, as well as Amazon, owned by Jeff Bezos. There was an article, and it's the new Lord of the Rings series explained.
Okay, please.
And it's talking through, let's see, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, read the salient points.
Yeah, it says it's return, blah, 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 blah. Where are we? The Rings of Power takes place seemingly an eternity before the theatrical Lord of the Rings movies, at the dawn of the Second Age, the period where the forging of the rings take place. New characters, yada, yada, yada. The interesting thing that I found, the executive producer, Lindsay Weber, talked about the series, and it says, what is the Lord of the Rings of Power based on? If someone wanted to read this story before they watched it, where would they go? It says, anyone who has the Lord of the Rings books in their home already has it. It's based on the appendices, not based on the Silmarillion, which we all kind of naturally
assuming that's what it's going to be.
That's what it would be, because that's the most it's comprehensive.
It's like the first 4 books of the Old Testament of the Bible, if you will.
Exactly. And so I thought that was kind of interesting that they based this only on the appendices, because the appendices are somewhat lacking in a little bit of knowledge that the Silmarillion ultimately fills in.
Yeah, and the appendices generally
and they jump around, and it's like,
the appendices are all over
what
the
the
place.
heck are they talking about now?
Well, the appendices are generally, from my recollection, that kind of fills in what happens after, at the end of the Third Age, going into the Fourth Age.
But there's also, those things prior to that. And
I haven't read the appendices in ages, so there's a
Yes.
lot that I don't remember.
And they had a huge budget. The other thing was that they consulted with the Tolkien estate, and they agreed that the series would be limited to 50 hours of television.
Oh, so this is a limited series. They're no chance for renewal or anything like that.
Yeah. So whatever they do, if they hit the 50 hours, apparently, and that, that's where they are with that. The very interesting article talking about the forging of the rings. That's part of it, the one ring. But there are many rings that have a story to tell as well. It's the rise and fall of Tolkien's Atlantis, the story of Numenor. It is the rise of the Dark Lord Sauron. He's not just an eye in the sky as is in the Third Age.
No, he actually adopted fair shape.
Yeah.
And he had a name that I had written down someplace else. I can't remember what it is now. But he was like, he was trying to present himself as some sort of an elf, the bringer of gifts, something like that. I can't remember the name.
Yeah. And then it just goes on and talks about, there's supposed to be 8 episodes available. Obviously they were supposed to have 2 available today on Thursday. We haven't watched it because it's not out.
We don't have it yet. I'm sure there are other places back, further ahead in the time continuum that do have it, like New York.
And then, new episodes will be released on Fridays. So that was the article. It's kind of it's a fluff piece, but it also talks about, those interesting things. I thought the most important was that it's only based on the appendices.
The source material.
Yeah, which I thought was very interesting because maybe they have a plan to do the Silmarillion at some point.
Well,
I mean, that would be a huge undertaking.
Yeah, and you'd need like a boatload of Tolkien scholars who have made it their life's work to understand, to dissect, and be able to kind of almost deconstruct the Silmarillion, so that it can make some kind of sense. Because you've tried to read it, I've tried to read it, I did not get very far.
I got a ways into it, but I never finished it.
I couldn't. I tried.
It's like reading the book of Numbers or Kings in the Bible.
Lots of
like,
lineage.
Holy moly macanoli.
Yeah. It's a very, very difficult book to read.
This person is that person's aunt's uncle's cousin twice removed, third sister, or something like that,
I will be,
heck?
I will be very interested to see this because I suspect that there might be, based, again, this stuff a heck of a lot better than I do, but I'm a little, I'm not a little concerned. I suspect that there's going to be some bleeding over of first age stuff into the second age, just for the sake of storytelling. For example,
I mean the
2 trees.
The 2 trees, exactly.
I didn't think those existed in the second age, but we see them in the trailer, unless it is a flashback.
Yeah,
which it might very well be.
It's certainly a possibility.
So
it was Shelob that killed the trees, so.
Right? Yeah,
with the darkness.
So I'm curious now. There was a thread that existed it's on Twitter, and this one person, I came to the same agreement, and this is for this purpose. I'm going to refer back to my initial thoughts on the Lord of the Rings movies. Now, granted, I was being just the worst nitpicker on the planet, thinking, oh, but they left out this and they changed this and, blah, 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 blah. Where's Tom Bombadil kind of thing,
Right.
And wait a minute, that's the wrong elf who came to rescue them on the path. That should be Glorfindel. You say, I was one of those stupid people. But at the end of the day, the reason I loved those movies so much, they were able to get away with these literary shortcuts simply because they told the story so freaking well.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why I do a complete 6-movie rewatch every year, because although I could miss the second and third Hobbit films, sorry Peter, I didn't care for them, but I could rewatch that Lord of the Rings trilogy every year without any problem. And it's because that story is just told so unbelievably well. And this one person on Twitter, she and I came to this complete agreement that if they can keep doing that, if they can tell a really good story with interesting characters, there is a lot that we will be able to forgive. I'm not saying that we'll completely give it a full-blown acceptance, but there's a lot that we can finally accept and say, okay, that's a deviation, but you did it really well. I'll turn a blind eye towards that.
Right.
So had to kind of wait and see how that's going to go. I'm hopeful. I'm still seeing a lot of skepticism. I know that there was some controversy that happened at San Diego Comic-Con recently. Some people, Stephen Colbert kind of got on some people's bad side. He was moderating a Rings of Power panel, and somebody stood up and tried to make a point about Galadriel's lineage, and Colbert kind of just shut him down in a really ugly way just to benefit the people that were up on the stage, and it didn't look good. And it's created more controversy.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I think if they were maybe to kind of like just better address it, be a little bit more upfront. That's what Peter did.
Yeah.
Peter was very upfront with the changes. Excuse me. He was very honest with the changes they were going to be making. He says, yeah, we would love to do this, but we can't. And this is why. So, and when he did that, he's like, okay, controversy gone.
Right. So
we're not kind of getting that sort of transparency from the people at Amazon regarding this. So we'll have to wait and see. I did see one review, one little review. Somebody got a screener for it and said that they basically, I'm going to lump it up. They boil it down to style and little substance.
Interesting.
Yeah, he said it looked absolutely gorgeous, but there was nothing going on.
Really? Well, that's interesting. I want to go back to the Silmarillion. I mean, that was published in 1977.
Oh yeah,
I remember when it was first published.
I got
one of the first copies.
I was in an epic.
In fact, I pre-ordered a copy.
I was I had a class in my sophomore year called Epic and Fantasy, and one of the works that we were going to be studying was Lord of the Rings. And I remember when the Silmarillion came out, and we talked about that. And oh man, that was an entire class, a day of class right there.
Yeah, and the interesting thing in the Silmarillion combines 5 parts, and I'm the fact that they didn't say anything about the Silmarillion or as source material, they only said the appendices, because the first part is the creation of Ea, and then the Valakenta, which is the description of the Valar and the Maiar, which Gandalf and the
other wizards,
and all of those, and then the Kenta Silmarillion, that's the events before the First Age, and then the Akalabath, the history of the Second Age, and then of the Rings of Power in the Third Age. And those 5 parts, I can't believe that they didn't use some of that, because the Second Age, if you want the history of the true history,
well, it's right there.
The whole history of the Second Age, it's right there. If that's what this is about, and it's about the Second Age, then we'll see.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe they wanted to, and I don't believe this myself. I'm just saying it to put it out there. Tolkien did not write the Silmarillion with his own hand. That was by his son Christopher. It was based on notes.
It was all the notes.
All the notes
exactly.
that
there were stories
had.
And there were some narratives, but he kind of wove it together himself.
Christopher wove that entire thing together, creating the Silmarillion. And again, it can be a very difficult read,
because it is sparse notes in some places,
right? And so, as far as research material goes, I could see why they may want to have steered clear from that, and maybe go to the appendices, because
but it would have informed.
It would have informed a lot. So to simply say that,
and then the Guide to Middle Earth, you could go there.
I am going to stand by that freaking book.
You have that on your...
I wish to God they would put that out on Kindle because, and you've done this too. I pulled out this book. We'd be watching Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, oh wait, I gotta pause, look something up. It's this little paperback, but oh my God, is it comprehensive?
For years and years.
Yeah, I got it.
It sits by your.
It sits on my little side table by my chair in the living room. And I got that just prior to to Fellowship of the Ring coming out in the theater.
I'd had one for years before that, and I don't know where my copy went.
So, but I would look that up, and that is like, okay, I'm going to make a really, really weird parallel here. You know that Ring CD that I gave you?
Right.
Okay. You know how that is a very evil rabbit hole to go down?
It is definitely a rabbit hole.
Well, that's what this book is. And you've experienced this too, because I'd look something up as, oh, that's interesting. And then, and then I put my finger in or get a bookmark and that's interesting.
It's the original Wikipedia for Middle Earth.
It is. That is the original Wikipedia for all things Middle Earth. And you borrowed it one time, and 10 minutes later, you're still going. He's like, oh my. And then you handed the book back to me and said, I can't do this anymore. Take it away. That book is amazing. So, yeah, I would like to think that the showrunners for this don't just rely on the appendices because there's so
much other material.
There is such great material in the Silmarillion and in that Guide to Middle Earth that could really inform everything that this show has. I don't. We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to say that I'm excited for it.
I'm
curious.
Curious, certainly.
I wouldn't say that I'm excited, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, it's like, like
we'll see.
Galadriel being best buddies with Elrond. Okay, well, we know they met several times, so I guess it's possible. We'll just have to wait and see how that's all. We'll report back to you later
once we've seen it. And that's it for our discussion today. So,
hey everybody, Jason Carney here. Phoenix Film Festival. You want to know about movies? You want to know about anything in the geek world? You're listening to the Two Gay Geeks.
You know, listeners are going to be like, what's wrong with my volume?
Yeah, what's wrong with my volume? Anyway, here's a few selected birthdays for September 5th, 2022 through September 11th, 2022. September 5th, Freddie Mercury.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to give him, say his birth name. Farouk Balsara.
There you go. Is a British singer and songwriter who achieved worldwide fame as the lead vocalist of the rock band Queen. Regarded as one of the greatest singers in the history of rock music, he was known for his flamboyant stage persona and 4-octave vocal range.
Ah, really?
Mercury defied the conventions of a rock frontman with his theatrical style, influencing the artistic direction of Queen, and sadly died... in 1991.
It was 91, November 24th, 1991, that we lost him due to AIDS.
And then we have Bob Newhart, American actor and comedian, best known for his deadpan and slightly stammering delivery style. Newhart came to prominence in 1960 with his album of comedic monologues, The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart. Became a bestseller and reached number 1 on the Billboard Pop Album Chart. That's when you could buy comedians' vinyl albums.
They were a thing.
Many of them.
I had quite a few.
Steve Martin.
I had Steve Martin. I had Bill Cosby before he fell out of favor, obviously. I had quite a few. George Carlin, Joan Rivers, Robin Williams. Yeah, I had a bunch, and I would listen to them, sort of repeatedly because they were funny.
Yep, and he actually was, the Bob Newhart Show, and in its many iterations. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Yeah. And then we have Jason Carney, who we just heard from. Happy birthday, Jason, and Amber KM and Tatiana Patton.
Oh, happy birthday.
September 6th, Idris Elba, an English actor, producer, and musician, an alumnus of the National Youth Theatre in London, roles in the MCU, DCEU, and many, many other roles. Recently, 3,000 Years of Longing, which was just released. Aside from acting, Elba performs as a DJ under the moniker DJ Big Driss.
Oh, no kidding.
Or Idris, and as an R&B musician. In 2016, he was named in the Time 100 list of most influential people in the world. And then we have
Roger Waters.
English musician, singer, songwriter, and composer. 1965, he co-founded progressive rock band Lavender Floyd.
Actually, at the time, they were more of a psychedelic band. Yeah. It started off with Syd Barrett, who was their creative force, and then Syd left, and then
1968, and he became the lyricist.
Well, he didn't become the lyricist until 1974 when they did Dark Side of the Moon.
Yep.
And that's when it shifted from being a psychedelic band into more of an artsy prog band.
Yep. So and he left in 1983.
Yeah.
And then we have Susan Martin Polite and Belle Relaford.
Oh, happy
Rest in
birthday,
peace.
Belle.
Happy birthday, Belle. And then Heather Hill.
Happy birthday, Heather.
Happy birthday. And the mother of our two nephews.
Yes.
Those two boys are amazing.
Yeah, I wish I had their energy.
I'm telling you. September 7th, Toby Jones, English actor, is known for his vocal performances as Dobby the house elf in the Harry Potter films.
Mm-hmm.
Armin Zola in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Captain America: First Avenger and Captain America: Winter Soldier. He has television credits for Doctor Who and is also known for his work in the theater. Then we have Chrissie Hynde.
The Pretenders.
Yes, an American musician. She is founding member of the lead guitarist, vocalist, and primary songwriter of the rock band The Pretenders, and one of the band's two remaining original members alongside drummer Martin Chambers. Hyde formed The Pretenders in 1978 with Peter Farndon, James Honeyman, Scott, and Chambers. She also released a number of songs with other musicians, including Frank Sinatra, Cher, and UB40. She's also released a solo album, Stockholm, in 2014, and Hynde was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2005 as a member of the Pretenders. She performed at Live Aid in 1985.
Okay.
Then we have a friend of ours, Jeff Marriott, who is an author and has released several books recently. He does a lot of Western type.
Alternate history.
Western, yeah. September 8th, Pink. Alicia Beth Moore, known professionally as Pink.
I have great respect for this person.
Yeah.
She is amazing. There was a great documentary that Andrea reviewed, and just her respect for Pink just shot up because of this.
Yeah. American singer, songwriter, actress, and dancer. She was originally a member of the girl group Choice. Pink is often regarded as the pop royalty for her distinctive raspy voice and acrobatic stage presence. Sold over 135 million records worldwide. That's 60 million albums and 75 million singles, making her one of the world's best-selling music artists. She's also an outspoken about LGBT rights and supports same-sex marriage. In October 2012, Pink told The Advocate that she does not define her sexual orientation, saying, "I never felt that I needed to." How about that?
Well, I know she's married. She has a husband and a daughter. I believe it's a daughter. And they travel. When she goes on the road, that family is with her because she believes that her role as a mother must come before anything else.
Cool.
And I really respect that from her.
Yep. Antonín Dvořák was a Czech composer, one of the first Czech composers to achieve worldwide recognition. Dvořák frequently employed rhythms and other aspects of folk music of Moravia and his native Bohemia, following the Romantic-era nationalist example of his predecessor Bedřich Smetana. Dvorak's style has been described as the fullest recreation of a national idiom, with that of the symphonic tradition, absorbing folk influences and finding effective ways of using them. And then we have a friend of ours, Michael Lyons, also known as Queer Mikey on Twitter. And he's also an author himself.
Good one.
Yep, a very good one. Murder at the World's Fair was
his good book.
that was his first book that he released. It was an incredible book. September 9th, Jeffrey Combs, American actor, known for starring in horror films such as Reanimator and appearances playing a number of characters in Star Trek and the DC Animated Universe television franchises. Hugh Grant, English actor, received attention for his performance in costume dramas, including the Merchant Ivory films Morris in 1987, which is a
marvelous movie,
for which he received the Volkby Cup and The Remains of the Day, as well as Sense and Sensibility and Restoration. In a career spanning more than 35 years, Grant has repeatedly claimed that acting was not his true calling, but rather a career that developed by happenstance. However, in 2020, after moving on to more character roles, he has stated that he enjoys acting now.
Well, I hope
he's very good at it.
I think he's quite good at it. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen him do anything that was weak or poor or anything like that.
September 10th, Chris Columbus, American filmmaker, born in Spangler, Pennsylvania. He studied at the Tisch School of the Arts, where he developed an interest in filmmaking. After writing screenplays for several teen comedies in the mid-'80s, he made his directorial debut with a teen adventure, Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh my, I remember that one.
Columbus gained recognition soon after with the highly successful Christmas comedy Home Alone.
Ah, yes.
And its sequel, Home Alone 2, Lost in America. Is co-founder of 1492 Pictures, a film production company that has produced some of his films since 1995. More recently, he co-founded another production film firm with his daughter in 2014 called Maiden Voyage Pictures. We saw something recently. It was 1492
Yeah,
Productions. I don't recall what it was.
I can't remember what it was, though.
Robert Wise.
Oh, well.
Wow. American filmmaker, director, and editor. Oh, my gosh. Won the Academy Award for Best Director and Best Picture for his musical films West Side Story and The Sound of Music. He was nominated for Best Film Editing for Citizen Kane and directed and produced The Sand Pebbles in 1966, which was nominated for Best Picture. Among his other films are The Body Snatcher, Born to Kill, The Setup, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Personal favorite.
Destination Gobi, This Could Be the Night, Run Silent, Run Deep.
Oh, I didn't know that was his.
Yep. I Want to Live, The Haunting, The Andromeda Strain.
Oh, yeah.
The Hindenburg, and Star Trek, The Motion Picture.
My personal favorite of all the Star Trek movies.
Yep. And then we have friend of ours, Shelley Andrews, and Mr. Gordon Street. Happy birthday,
Happy
Gordon,
birthday.
one of our oldest and dearest friends. September 11th, Moby. Richard Melville Hall, known professionally as Moby, is an American musician, songwriter, singer, producer, and animal rights activist.
Well, if his middle name, if his first names are Richard Melville, it's no wonder he decided to go with Moby.
Exactly.
Makes perfect sense.
He sold over 20 million records worldwide. All Music considers him to be among the most important dance music figures of the early 90s, helping bring dance music to a mainstream audience, both in the United States and the United Kingdom. In addition to his music career, Moby is known for his veganism and support of animal rights and humanitarian aid. And we leaned against his wall of his house in the Hollywood Hills.
In the Hollywood Hills, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Herbert Lom. He was a Czech-British actor who moved to the United Kingdom in 1939. In a career lasting more than 60 years, he generally appeared in character roles, often portraying criminals or suave villains in his younger years and professional men as he aged. highly versatile. He proved his skilled comic actor
in
the Pink Panther franchise.
Yep.
He was noted for his precise, elegant enunciation of English.
Okay.
Then we have a friend of ours, Trevor Martin, who's an opera singer, and he's also done got into film acting, I believe, too.
Oh, he has? Time. Oh, didn't know that.
And then David Bunch, rest in peace.
Miss you, David.
Miss you, David. And my favorite sister, Lynn Lane Hill. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lynn.
To all of those people. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama Podcast. They're actually at DragonCon this weekend.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counselors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
And it's time for our feedback. And before I go any further, I'm really sorry for having to continually clear my throat. I don't know where this junk is all coming from. It's just stuff that's in the air. We have to deal with living here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I apologize if you continually hear me turn away from the mic and clear. Yeah, like that. Anyway, as I was saying, this is our feedback. These are comments that we received in response to episodes and articles that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com, and the links for each of these will be in the show notes for this episode article number 394 at tggeeks.com, starting with regarding TG Geeks episode number 391, where we interviewed Patricia Chica and Kamal John Iskander of Montreal Girls. Got a comment from Patricia Chica saying, "Thank you, TG Geeks, for this lovely conversation."
As always,
thank you. As always. And then also got a comment from Kamal John Iskander saying, "Did a fun podcast interview for Sci-Fi Radio and TG Squared Studios to talk about Montreal Girls and our world premiere at CineQuest. Thanks, Keith Lane and Ben Raggington." I also got a comment from Montreal Girls themselves, and that's the movie site on Facebook, saying, "Always a great time in the company of the Two Gay Geeks. Kiss, hug, kiss." Moving on regarding Rogue One, a Star Wars story in IMAX August 26th with special sneak peek.
Special speak.
I was going to say special effect peek, but no. A special sneak peek at Andor. That's the new Star Wars series coming to Disney+. Got a comment from Joseph Gaxiola saying,
Is that going to star Jeffrey Combs?
I don't think he does Star Wars.
Oh.
Why?
There's Andor, because he's an Andorian.
Moving on. Got a comment from Joseph Gaxiola saying, "I can't wait to see this. I've been a Star Wars fan since it came out in 1977. Ditto to that. Got a comment from, got Michael Hickerson. "Nice to hear from you again, Hicks." He left this for us on Instagram saying, "Will they take it off streaming like they did Avatar?" I haven't bothered to check if they have or not, but you're right. They did take Avatar off Disney+.
We watched Rogue One just the other day.
Yeah, we did. We did watch Rogue One. So I guess it's still there. And then also got a comment from Hamish Downey. This was a flashback. I remember when people were buying tickets to films just to watch the trailer of The Phantom Menace. I wonder if you'll do the same for this one. Well, no. Part of the reason being is that The Phantom Menace was the first real new Star Wars fans were getting in a long time.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why they were doing that. Now with the complete, plethora of Star Wars material that is out there, I'm not going to say that it's diluted the product. It's not that. It's just that I don't think it's sort of changed the temperature of the fandom, I think. So yeah, people are not rushing out the theater just to see trailers anymore for that. And then we close this off regarding TG Geeks episode number 392, and I believe this is where Keith and I had actually gone. We talked about being at the world premiere for Montreal Girls: A Cinequest, and got a comment from Montreal Girls once more saying, "Thank you, TG Geeks, for this great podcast," and that is our feedback.
If you want to leave a comment, you can do that on our Facebook page, Twitter, or Instagram accounts. You can even go to YouTube for the episodes, or you can go to tggeeks.com and you can comment on anything that we publish. And if you leave a comment, we will give you a shout out on the air like we did with these folks. And we also have a listener feedback line. If you want to leave us a voicemail, that would be absolutely lovely. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on air. You can call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice.
For more than 2 decades, Judy and Dennis Shepard have honored their son Matt by working to erase hate around the world. The Matthew Shepard Foundation honors his legacy by inspiring the good work of activists, teachers, artists, and legislators, and everyday LGBTQ+ folks and their allies. Join us today in helping to erase hate. Visit MatthewShepard.org.
Thank you to Comcast NBC Universal for that promo. Well, as everybody knows, we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. Please buy their stuff. Please have cash for them. We even went to the ATM yesterday. ADM. And got cash so that we can, while we're at CoKoCon, we can actually have cash for the folks so they don't incur a cost when we buy something at the dealer's room. Talk about them to other people, talk to them, go to their websites, their Etsy pages, anywhere you can find them. Please consider supporting independent creators. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Well, second segment.
Yeah.
What to talk about?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got nothing.
Oh. And we spent 20 minutes talking about nothing earlier, and you have nothing now?
Well, we had an idea on how to talk about nothing. Now I've got no idea on how to talk about nothing.
I see.
I'm trying to think. What have you watched anything? I know we're doing. We finally got back onto the SG1 rewatch. I had deliberately derailed that because I I was dead set on not wanting to watch a specific episode.
Yeah.
But then got through it, and so watched that.
Yeah, there we are.
And so we picked that up again, so that's going to last for about another 3 years.
Exactly.
Because it's going to take us that long just to get to the remainder of the series.
I know. It's like, what, 9 seasons?
About, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, so we're watching that, and just want to say a little shout out to CoKoCon once again. If you're listening to this early enough in the day, there are still things going on at CoKoCon on Monday.
It's a modest little convention, but it's it has
it's always a lot of fun.
It's very charming.
Yep.
You can almost call it a fan gathering.
Yeah. I mean, and interesting that it's kind of an anniversary as well for us. Because that was my first con.
When it was still CopperCon.
When it was CopperCon.
Yeah, that's right.
Right after we met, and you said, come on over.
Well, I was running the video room at the time, so I had to be there.
Right.
And I thought, well, honey, why don't you come join me? And, we'll hang.
There we are.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
It was very enjoyable, and I am very much looking forward to, hey, what a great con.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's time for our weekly review. These are items and articles that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com this past week, and the links for each of these will be in the show notes for this episode article number 394 that you can find at tggeeks.com, which will be available on the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Starting with Sunday, August 28th, Nerdy Chupacabras number 115. On Monday the 29th, TG Geeks episode number 393. On Tuesday the 30th, Ben's Gay Book Breakdown. Tal Bauer scores a win with Gravity. That's the name of his book. On Wednesday the 31st, Prime Video presents Nanny in theaters November 23rd. On Thursday the 1st, Andrea's Angle, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. Skillful satire, magnetic performances. On Friday the 2nd, Hamish Downey's September playlist. And we close off the week Saturday the 3rd, Apocalypse Later Roadshow at CoKoCon, a review. We have some shout-outs that we need to make. First to Brian Weber, our good friend Arkle. He's on Twitter as the Geek of All Trades, and that is, the geek is spelled letter G, the number 3, the number 3, the letter K, of all trades. He's also there referred to as Brian the Ampersand List YouTuber. We mention him because he has his Arkle Times Post Dispatch News, which republishes some of our content from time to time. And while you're there, while you're searching for all things Arkle, go to his YouTube channel. That would be youtube.com/Arkle Studios. He has a number of his projects there, as well as his Star Trek Online, which has a new episode. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, Two Gay Geeks After Hours. Big thanks to their moderators for them literally saying to us, oh, please share away your content. Their address is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours, and then to The Gay Geek for the same thing. And their URL is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek. And as always, we give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Other places we can be found are Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Sci-Fi Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays, and listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We will have several links on the page of things we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail of 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Live and be your authentic self, no matter what the world tells you. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay safe, wear a mask, get vaccinated. Peace.
Cheers.